But it can be manipulated. First of all, let's take doctors, for example. A lot of them are manipulated by the big pharma medical course, and they think it's all true. But I mean, if you're aware of what's really going on in the world, I mean, big pharma is probably our biggest enemy. Hey, what's going on, guys? Another episode here of Banned Opinions. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about the 6 different kinds of IQ. Yeah, there's 6, believe it or not. We're going to go through it today. Most of you have only been led to believe that there's only one academic. So let's go through it. So the first one is that everybody thinks is the most important, but it's not really the most important. I mean, ask the people who became millionaires that were getting D's in high school, but yet they're way more successful than their counterparts in academia. The reason being is academics, you know, they do a lot of work. Academics gives you the ability to learn, analyze, and apply knowledge, but it can be manipulated. First of all, let's take doctors, for example. A lot of them are manipulated by the big pharma medical course, and they think it's all true. But I mean, if you're aware of what's really going on in the world, I mean, big pharma is probably our biggest enemy, and they train the doctors. There's some smart doctors out there, don't get me wrong, ones that understand, because they actually do extra work on the side to kind of break through and find their own analysis, because that's what you're supposed to do as an academic, find your own analysis, not just regurgitate what some authority told you. You're supposed to confirm that. All right, so with academics, that's, you know, parents growing up and everything like that, got to make sure you get your A's, your B's, your C's. You got to really understand that, we'll do an episode on this, that the school system actually comes from the old Prussian system, which is the old Germany, and it was actually for military. So the modern day school system is actually built on military. It's made to create good worker bees, not employers, not producers, but worker bees, all right, for different industries. You know, so if you're going to school, expect a lot of debt and a lot of time taken from your young life, which you may or may not get a job. Depends how specialized the degree you're going in for, right? And if it's fairly specialized, like a lawyer, doctor, dentist, you'll do well, but it will take you time to pay off that student debt. But it shouldn't be too bad because your income's gonna be pretty high. But if you're going for like a nurse or, I don't know, one of the other garbage degrees, an arts degree, if you're taking one of those, you should probably just stop and save your money. So that's basically academics. We put a little too much emphasis on that. And here's the thing, academics can't fix your plumbing. They can't really do your electricity. They can't build shit. They can sit there and read papers all day, but when it comes to actual practical knowledge, they can't really do too much. Maybe a nurse could give you an IV or something like that. Whatever, we're not gonna get too much into that. Just know that academics isn't the end all be all for IQ. And if that's all you got, listen up. Number 2, health IQ. Just because someone is a doctor doesn't mean they actually have health knowledge. I mean, I work out with a couple doctors at the gym, and I ask them a couple questions like nattokinase against blood clots, right? There's tons of studies on this. Do you think they know about it? No, and they're good guys. They're pretty smart. They know a couple things, but they don't know everything because they're dealing with so much stuff, right? So just saying that your doctor isn't going to be the holy grail of health advice. You actually have a better chance of, I know it's not the most conventional, but scouring YouTube for a bit of advice and counter-referencing it, or cross-referencing it, I should say, with studies, with other opinions. If you're not too knowledgeable and have a background in health yourself, then you're gonna have to do a lot of cross-referencing. So that's where academics will come in. It'll help you do that, right? I'm not saying academics is garbage. It has its place, but it's not the end-all be-all. So with health IQ, a lot of people are like, why do I have diabetes? Why? You know why? Because you eat like shit. That's why. And what I found out recently is eating before bed is not good. So lately, just my personal little journey, I always thought, you know, because I'm always looking to build muscle and stuff, I always thought that eating before bed, I needed to do that so my body could grow at night when the human growth hormone's released. But what I've learned in the last month is human growth hormone, and it's from YouTube I learned this, human growth hormone doesn't actually release if you eat within 3 to 5 hours before bed, or under 3 hours before bed. So it's best to stop eating 3 hours, but they recommend 5 hours so that it doesn't inhibit human growth hormone release, which will make you lose fat, build muscle in your sleep if you've trained. So that's just an example right there. But other than that, you know, you should know about your alkaline acidic levels. People don't really talk about that. But like, for example, cancer cannot survive in an alkaline environment. It needs an acidic environment. So when you're drinking all that Pepsi and all this sugar, that's all acidic. All acidic. What you need to do to alkalize is you need to consume nutrients like calcium, potassium, magnesium, and sodium. Those are your 4 alkaline substances. So just a quick little tidbit there for you. We could do more videos on that if you guys would like. So always remember, if you find value in these videos, like, sub, you know, the routine, help me fight that algo. And I'd also like to hear your guys' band opinions down below, or something you'd like to hear about that I may know something about. So anyways, comment anyways. And if you have nothing to comment, just write down IQ, just to help with the algo. Anyways, going on to the third one, social IQ. So social IQ is very important for networking, influence, and for sales. If you're in sales, like, obviously you need good social IQ. How are you going to sell to people, right? How are you going to sell your ideas to your family? How are you going to sell ideas to coworkers, your family members? So selling is very important, which requires high social IQ. But just because you have a high social IQ doesn't mean it's only used in sales. Holy cow. Oh, hey, Carrie. Hey, nothing too much. How you doing? Oh, not too bad, buddy. Actually, might as well go this way here if you guys are walking this way. No. With a whole high social IQ, you can use it for sales, but it's not all. You can use it for investing as well. Let's say you know somebody who has a lot of capital and they trust you, you build a relationship, you go out for breakfast with them, per se. You've done a couple little investments with them that didn't require much capital. But then let's say another big one comes on the table and they want some help, or a third party or another partner. Well, maybe they'll come looking for you. I mean, you got to understand how people think and feel, and basically build trust. Like, that's what it's all about, social IQ, building trust, relationship, and your personal brand. And it definitely helps out with sales, you know what I mean? But anyways, on to the next one. There is also something called legal or law IQ. Now, this isn't like going and saying, oh, hey, it's a court clerk or something. No, I'm talking about operating in court. So back in like the 1900s, late 1800s, this used to be part of the curriculum, but they took it out because it was too hard, apparently. I say bullshit. You know why they took it out? To dumb everybody down so that they could use the law to control us even harder. All right? And look at all the regulations today. We are not only taxed to death, but we are regulated to death, especially here in Canada. If you fart the wrong way, you're getting a ticket, you know? The way it's going here, you might even get taxed. So that's the whole thing there. So going more in depth with this law IQ, what this means is, do you know, like, let's say you got a complaint against someone, or the cops charge you with something. Do you even know how to defend yourself in court without going and getting some two-bit lawyer who doesn't really care about you, just cares about your money and that you paid him, and then he'll represent you and do a half-ass job doing it? Nobody's going to defend you like yourself. It's just like nobody's going to love you like you love yourself. Nobody's going to pick you up like you would pick yourself up after a failure. Same thing with the law. We depend too much on these other people, like financial advisors and lawyers, to do what we need done. So, going a little more into the law IQ, main things that you need to know about it is, if you get a complaint against you, you have to learn how to motion. You have to learn how to do motion for strike, motion in limine, motion to dismiss. And then how to back up those motions is with a memorandum. That's just basically saying why this motion should be granted by the courts. And you could actually win most court cases before going to trial. A lawyer will make you go to trial because he gets paid more. That's why. All right? So always remember that. And if you want to learn how to do court by yourself, just go to jurisdictionary.com. I could put a link below just for those who want to learn about it. I don't earn any affiliates or anything off these things. I'm just trying to help people out here, giving you the info, and just see people starting to get fucking smarter, because we're turning into idiocracy here, especially in the Western nations. But there is a light of hope, so we'll keep going with that. Number 5, trade IQ. So trade IQ is just like it sounds. It has to do with understanding and the ability to read blueprints, use tools, troubleshoot systems. So like plumbing, for example. So plumbing, electrical, carpentry, mechanic, pipe fitting, all these are trades. These are going to be the gold mine. So if you went into like college, university, got your academics, and you're having a hard time, I would suggest getting to trade work. There is no shortage of that, especially in the Western nations. People's plumbing are always breaking. There always need to be electrical. There always needs to be a carpenter. These are running in short supply, guys. And ladies too, if you're into that. But it is running in short supply. And when there's scarcity and skilled labor, you get paid a premium. So just keep that in mind. And one of the best things about trade work, is that you could actually run a business after, which is very beneficial. So not only do you go to school, you could actually go and open up your own business after and hire these people to work under you, while you can just tell them what to do and you run the business, instead of actually going out and doing the work, which then you become a backup if there's a lot of jobs and stuff. So that's why I think trade IQ is one of the biggest and the best IQs to get, because you'll definitely make a good living. You can do lots of under the table work, and you can definitely get into your own businesses. And it'll help you in more ways than you think. So much crossover skills that you learn. It's unbelievable. And finally, financial IQ. So financial IQ is basically knowledge of money management, investing, wealth building, and knowing what the difference is between liabilities and assets. All right. So a liability simply takes money out of your pocket. An asset puts money into your pocket. Everyone thinks their house is an asset. This couldn't be any further from the truth. Unless you sell it with a gain. And when you sell it, you got to make sure that you made all the money back. And if you didn't make all the money back, then it was a liability after all. And when these people say, oh, my house is worth this, well, you can't get the equity until you sell it. You're not making money every month. It's taking money out of your pocket every month. And in Canada, you can't even write off your interest. So it's kind of stupid. In the US, apparently you can write off not only your interest, but the principal as well. The principal, I don't know if you can do it on your personal residence or if that's just on investing. Either way, the only properties I own are apartments, 3 and 4 plexes. I like those simply because you lose a tenant, you're not up against the wall most times. Anyways, there's that. And then also with financial IQ, there's so many ways to skin a cat. There's not just one. It's not just give your money to a financial advisor. Nobody's ever got really too wealthy unless it's like a trend an analyst financial advisor, where these guys are usually, they don't work for the bank. They work in private like wealth building brokerages and stuff like that. Those guys might be okay, but you got to understand, you're getting charged massive fees for their management, right? So just be aware of that. And if you think your mutual fund is going to make you rich, think again. I call them one-way funds. Same with your RSP. You think that's the best way to retire? It's not. you have to take market risk. I would recommend a participating whole life policy with paid up additions and max overfunding, because then I get uninterrupted compounding, because I'm also part owner of the company, of the life company and such. Anyways, I could do another video on that another time. Lots of financial knowledge here. That's my big IQ right there. Financial knowledge and health IQ are my biggest. I got some trade IQ and lots of social IQ actually. But my lowest lacking one would probably be maybe law IQ, even though I know quite a bit about it. Maybe a bit of academic IQ too. I mean, I did okay in school and stuff, but anyways, just looking at my weaknesses, if there is any, which I'm sure there's always some. So how do we fix this, guys? How do we take this knowledge and turn it into power? Remember, knowledge is power. If you don't have the knowledge, well, your power's taken away. That's what they did with the law. They took it out of school, so you have no power. They swept the rug right from you. They took the keys of knowledge and power away. Now they could bully you around, and these expensive lawyers get to reap the benefits. When, if you just learn how to motion and how to argue properly and know the rules of the court, you'd be okay. So, first thing is treat life like it's an RPG. Ladies, you might not know what that is, but that's a role-playing person game. And in those games, you have strength, dexterity, wisdom, all these things to make your character better. Well, just take that, but put it as IQs for yourself. So you want to keep ratcheting those up throughout your life. Lately, I've been focusing in the last few years more on trade IQ, learning how to do plumbing, electrical, carpentry, stuff like that. Why? Because there's been times where there's a lot of these millionaires that don't even know how to change a tap. How pathetic is that? You don't want to be that. That's what's respectable about that. A millionaire, he knows how to make the money, but he couldn't change a goddamn tap or a tire if his life depended on it. That's not good. You don't want to be that type of useless. You know, yes, you could always pay someone to do it, but if you're in a situation or in an area where people don't have these skills, well, it's going to be up to you, right? You never know. So make sure you do that. Raise your skill levels whenever given a chance. Don't avoid learning things you don't know. Make it a priority to learn. And if you feel confused or a bit scared, keep going, push through it. Why? Because this is how you're gonna learn. This is how you're gonna have your breakthrough. And as always, invest in yourself first before investing in like stocks or anything, you know, or just your time even. Learn about it first. Invest in yourself and eliminate needless mistakes. And finally, never let a mistake go to waste. Those mistakes you have to learn from. If you blame someone else, if you don't take responsibility for the mistake and you brush it under a rug, you're fucking dumb, because that was an opportunity to learn and get better. So if you're not taking opportunities to get better and learn, that's not good. You might want to change that mindset. That's just my opinion. So anyways, guys, if you found this video helpful in some way, open your mind up a little bit, please like, subscribe down below if you've made it to the end of this video. And also if you're into crypto and such there, I got a stream running. It's pretty random at times though, but it's based on crypto, investing, reading charts, financial IQ shit. Just basically, I'll put that in the link down below as well. And we'll see you in the next video together, guys. Sheldon, out.